What's up, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor trader here. Just got to Rio, Brazil from Bolivia, going all over South America with Carmagawa. We're opening up some computer labs for inner city teens just to help them develop new technology skills so that they can get jobs in today's economy. I'll have videos about that in a little bit. Just gonna show you this badass room with a view. Look at this. I'm gonna go running down there. I'm gonna try to run this whole little thing in a bit, but first I gotta make a video. Getting a lot of questions about this banking crisis. Very scary stuff, okay? And I just need to go over like the nuances, because I get it, like people hate banks, people hate the government, especially big banks and like big government. I don't think you understand. It's not the biggest banks that are coming crashing down. It's small regional banks. And, I know Silicon Valley Bank, like with 200 billion doesn't sound small, but it's not like one of the top 5 or even the top 10 banks in the US. And specifically, it's like all the VC and tech businesses bank there. And, if you've studied like what has happened recently with technology and Silicon Valley, like there's been a big boom. So a lot of people say, oh, just let them all fail. It was like inevitable that, they would be too aggressive. The problem with that approach is that, companies like Etsy have already stopped paying their sellers. Just in the past like few days since Silicon Valley Bank failed on Friday, like it failed. It went from 200 billion to like 0 in 48 hours. This is a bank that has been in business for decades. I think 8,000 plus employees gone overnight. And now companies like Etsy, Etsy is just one of like hundreds of companies, well-known companies that where their deposits are now basically held hostage. And I'm filming this over the weekend. We'll see a resolution, hopefully, in the next few days. The government is meeting on Monday, the Fed, with an emergency meeting. Hopefully, and I've done this post, which has created all of these questions and commentary. Hopefully they secure the depositors. They back up the depositors. If you have under $250,000 in a bank account, you're protected by the FDIC. If you have over $250,000 in your bank account and the bank fails, you're not protected. Most people say, oh, screw the rich. If they have over $250,000, let them take the L, right? And I've seen this comment a lot. What you don't realize is that most businesses have more than $250,000 in their bank accounts. They're paying payroll. They're paying all sorts of business expenses. Like you have to be a pretty small business to have under $250,000. And that's not to knock any of the small businesses. They matter too, but they're not at risk. A lot of businesses have over $250,000. And actually I saw a stat, what was it? A third of all banks, I got this wrong. I had this memorized. Shoot, I have to look it up. Hold on. I tweeted this. I'm watching my own videos. Shut up, Sykes. You talk too much. One sec. I want to get this right. A third of U.S. deposits are in small banks and 50% are uninsured. So we're talking about like 15% roughly of all U.S. deposits right now are uninsured. 15%. So you might say, oh, screw them. They're like the richest people. They don't deserve, whatever. I get it. There's a lot of hate against the rich and the government, like I said. What you don't realize is if these 15% of uninsured deposits all go bust, or people don't feel that they're going to be protected. So before the banks go bust, people are lining up in the streets, which is what's happening right now at like First Republic Bank. I posted some photos there. If you say, hey, the bank might go bust, or it probably will go bust, or the government's not going to protect over 250,000, there will be bank runs, and it's a very slippery slope. So people who say like, just let this all fail, if you let this fail, if you let one bank fail, which they did with, Silicon Valley Bank, but I guess now there's like a bidding process to see who's going to take it over. The government has said they're not going to bail out the banks, but let's say you don't bail out anything. You say, screw it. This is the natural order of things. Let the rich suffer for once. It becomes a very slippery slope. One bank, 2 banks, 50 banks, 500 banks. People will line up in the streets calling, the phones. All the phone lines are going to be jammed, trying to get the money out of the bank before it potentially goes bust. there's no risk, for taking your money out of the bank. Like you just take it out of the bank. I guess what you convert it into dollars. You put the cash like under your mattress or something. I don't even know. It's going to be hectic. Do you buy Bitcoin? Supposedly Bitcoin should benefit from this, but the interesting thing is that because it's tech banks that have been hit, these tech companies have to pay payroll next week. They don't have access to their bank accounts right now, so they're selling their Bitcoin, they're selling their crypto just to stay in business. So crypto has actually dropped too. It's really messy. There's no like easy answers here, but in my opinion, and understand I'm just a penny stock trader and teacher, and now I'm traveling and I focus on my charity, so I'm very strange to think about this, or you can very easily discredit me. But my take is that you don't protect the banks. Screw the banks, okay? Sorry, my hands are like getting tired. I don't know why. The banks, the management, they're morons. They're absolute morons. Like they don't have any risk management, and they're running a $200 billion bank with Silicon Valley Bank, and now other banks have, these losses too. Terrible, terrible risk management. Let the banks fail. Let the bank managers go jobless. They deserve it. It's their own fault. But protect the depositors. Protect the uninsured accounts over 250,000, maybe raise the limit to like 500,000 or $1 million. I don't know the breakdown of what percentage every company has, like dollar-wise, but you don't let businesses fail. I know that, especially when you can do something about it, right? It's not too late. This is what the government is for. No matter whether you believe in the US government, big government, small government, should they interfere with anything? That's a whole nother debate. This is one thing that the government can do. They can probably put, I don't know, and again, this is an unqualified opinion, but let's say put $500 billion aside just to shore up confidence in the banks with the uninsured deposits. 500 billion, again, sounds like a lot, but in the government and in the scale of things, like it's probably like the cheapest thing that they've done in months. Don't even get me started on, what they spend on other countries. This, call it 500 billion, maybe it's 700 billion. I don't know. Maybe it's 1 trillion, but whatever it is, you protect American businesses, you protect average Americans, because if companies like Etsy or any tech company starts going under, starts firing employees, then you have millions of people unemployed. We already have rising rates. It's not easy just to, decrease the rates. And then you have like this financial pandemonium. The funny thing is, I'm filming this on March 12th, and I didn't even want to post this because I was like, this is so stupid, but like ChatGPT, there have been a few reports saying that the stock market, the US stock market, is going to crash on March 15th. I hope that this stupid freaking AI isn't right. There are some reports saying that it was manipulated to say March 15th, but the Ides of March are coming, and we do have this potential devastating thing happening. So I didn't even take, an over the weekend play. Like I saw some plays with Catalyst. I'll do a video lesson for my weekend newsletter subscribers why I didn't. But this is why, okay? I'll go into detail. But long story short, like when one bank fails, two banks fail, it's a very slippery slope. Leave a comment. Let's hear your take. I'm curious. No matter what it is, do you believe the bank should be bailed out? Do you believe that the depositors should be bailed out? Do you hate the government? Do you hate banks? Do you hate your life? Do you hate, learning? That's probably going to be, you won't necessarily admit it, but that's going to be like the usual type comment that I get. I see a lot of hate. That's why I'm making this video. You shouldn't root against American businesses or any businesses, For me, like, I basically came out and said, screw the big banks, let them fail. They've been, taking too many risks. But again, two different things. Letting the bank fail versus protecting the depositors. A bank can fail. SIVB, Silicon Valley Bank, failed. Right now, the question is, are the depositors with over 250,000 going to be protected? If I had to vote, my vote would be yes. Whether it's like 70 cents on the dollar or 80 cents, it doesn't have to be 100% on the dollar, but it should be like, you have to worry about, like, if you only do 70 cents on the dollar and you say, well, they don't get everything, but like, at least they'll have money. But then what signal does that send to other people at other regional banks? Then you might as well just take all your money out of the banks because, there's a risk of losing 20, 30%. If there's no protection, then why wouldn't you take all your money out of the bank? Because then you risk losing 100% versus if you take it out, what is it, like a $50 wire fee or something. It's going to be pandemonium tomorrow, okay? And I just hope that the government does the right thing. Supposedly, what is this? The Fed is meeting at 11:30 a.m. Like, why would you wait till 11:30 a.m. on a Monday? Who knows what the stock market is going to do until 11:30 a.m. They should have been meeting at 11:30 a.m. on a Sunday, if not a Saturday. Why is the weekend like, oh, we have to rest on the weekend? Like, what is this, freaking Chick-fil-A? We can't open for business on Sunday? The banks are failing. The government should step in. That's my take. And I'm not talking about anything else with the government. I'm not saying like getting into the whole debate about Ukraine or the vaccine or anything. None of that matters. All that matters is what should they do about these depositors? And if they can, stem the bleeding from this bank and other potential banks and tons of small businesses being unable to like pay their payroll on Wednesday, I think they should bite the bullet. But it is a risk, because what if you try to backstop these depositors and then more and more keep coming, and it's a very slippery slope. Like, the US government already is in huge debt. This is the biggest problem. We always forget that the US is so heavily in debt, and this is the exact kind of financial Armageddon that can take everything out. Okay. And I know some people say, oh, Tim, you're fear mongering. It's just one, the 15th biggest bank or something. But again, it's a very slippery slope. And we have a little time to get ahead of this. With you as an individual, I have money at big banks. I don't have any money at small banks. I donate too much to charity, so I'm actually pretty protected with the investments that I have and the banks that I have. But this isn't even about me. This is about these businesses at these banks like Silicon Valley Bank or First Regional Bank, where all these smaller banks. I want to get this right. A third of U.S. deposits are in small banks. That's what this video is for. Send this video to somebody who might have an account at a small bank. If it were me, I would just take the money out, because I don't know what the government is going to do. I don't even know. I really don't even know what I would do, because you have to take the money out and put it somewhere. Do you get, like, the banks don't have enough cash to give you cash. There's going to be runs on the banks. Like, this is very scary. And everything gets more dangerous given how much debt the U.S. is in, given how much debt most people are in. Like, it's like, oh, we're coming back from COVID. It's okay. The economy's coming back. Oh, now we have higher rates. Now we have this potential, financial Armageddon. This is not fear mongering. This is the same kind of thing that has happened in the past. It's only because I've studied the past that I understand like the dangers here. Most people, they're just very emotional, very angry. I hate the government. I hate big banks. Study the past, okay? Instead of hating the government or hating big banks, hate your ignorance. Hate your laziness. Hate your lack of preparation. I have to show you freaking views like this. I have to show you the upside before you guys even study enough. It's pathetic. 90% of my students don't even study the video lessons that I send them. Very similar to 90% of people with a gym membership don't even go to the gym. If everyone with a gym membership went to the gym wouldn't operate. The gym knows that 90% of people are lazy. This is why, same kind of thing, 90% of traders lose due to lack of preparation. This isn't even about losing on a trade. This is about potentially losing access to all your money. This is about potentially losing our entire economy and all of our debt coming due and of all of our sins, catching up to us as a nation. So very scary times. I don't have the answer. I'm not, in a position to know all this stuff. I just know that it's risky right now. And I am praying that the freaking U.S. government has a plan to at least save these uninsured depositors before it's too late. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let's have a gracious, respectful debate if possible. And, I do think that we can get out of this, hopefully, maybe just because I'm an optimist, but it's a very slippery slope. So I am going to bring it up. I'm sorry if you call me a fearmonger. I'm just always worst case. I'm always protecting, the way that I teach is, like I say, expect the worst and you'll never be disappointed. I don't even want to expect the worst with this, because that would just be devastation. But I do want to help you understand the risks where you think it's only one or two banks, but it's all interlinked, and hopefully we'll be okay. We'll see. Leave a comment below. Share this with somebody you know. Tell them to leave a comment. Let's have a good debate. Cheers. Get inspired. The world is beautiful. Don't use leverage.